Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is Q-bert for the Atari 2600, released by Parker Brothers in 1983. You start the game with 4 Q-berts and you're on the top cube of a pyramid of cubes. A Q-bert is this little creature with feet and a big nose, and he jumps around. It appears to be something that was created explicitly for this game. Every time you step on a cube, the surface changes color. The goal of the game is to step on all of the cubes and change all of the colors to the proper destination color without being run over or killed by any of the obstacles. It's an easy enough game early on and certainly gets more challenging as you go. Early on, basically you just step on each cube once. Eventually, you have to jump on each cube twice. Then they start throwing in a variable that'll start to confuse you, and it has to do with jumping back onto a cube that you've already changed to the destination color. In the first 2 levels, if you step on a cube already at its destination color, which would mean you jumped on it once or twice already, depending, it will no longer change color. For the higher levels of the game, if you jump on a cube that is already at its destination color, the cube will change back color to either the starting color, or maybe just step back 1 color, and that depends on what level you're at. This means you're basically undoing your existing work, or possibly resetting cubes completely. I won't go into specifics too much more than that. You can find the exact combinations online. Overall, I guess it's good to note that each level of the game is compiled of a total of 4 rounds, and as you ascend through these 4 rounds, you go through a total of 5 levels. If you're good enough to get through level 5 and beat all 4 rounds, the level 5 will keep looping. Trying to summarize a little bit what these difficulty levels mean, basically you're going to eventually find yourself trying to figure out specific patterns to jump that prevent you from stepping back onto existing cubes. Hanging in the air outside of the cubes is this little floating line. This is called the flying disc. And if you jump off the pyramid next to the disc will carry you up to the top of the pyramid and drop you off on the top cube. This is an important mechanic you'll need to use later in the game when things get more difficult. There are some obstacles that appear in the cubes. There's a red ball. Stay out of the way of the red ball or it'll run you over and you'll lose a life. There's also a purple ball, and this is the same thing as the red. Don't let it run you over. However, when the purple ball rolls to the bottom of the screen, it hatches, and then a character appears. The character's name is Coily. Coily is a purple snake, and his job is to pounce after you, and if he touches you, you'll lose a life. Avoid him, of course, or let him get close enough, and if you're at the edge of the pyramid and you manage to jump onto a flying disc, Coily will try to jump after you, and he will always miss, and then fall away. This is very useful to get yourself out of some tight spots. There's also Sam. Sam is a character that runs around flipping colors of cubes back to what they were. He makes it so you have to keep working at certain cubes. The last item in the game is a green ball. The green ball can't hurt you, and if you touch it, it will freeze all the objects on the screen but you. It's an opportunity to gather some bonus points and get some work done uninterrupted. These are the logistics and all the possible obstacles of the game. Basically, knowing all of these items, your job is to start gathering points as best as you can and make your way through the levels. The Atari version of this game plays just fine. It's understandable, and although it looks different than the arcade version, it's fundamentally the same thing. I think it's what you'd expect for an arcade port to the 2600. There's only 1 screen to work with in this game, and although no new obstacles appear when you advance, the base colors of the cubes do shift, not only when you jump on them, but the whole pyramid color is going to shift color as you move through the levels. It helps breaks up some of the visual monotony. Q-bert was a relatively well-known arcade game, and originally hit arcades in 1982. It was considered both a critical and financial success, and around 25,000 arcade cabinets were sold for this game. I was also interested to learn that there was a Saturday morning cartoon show for Q-bert as well. It was part of the Saturday Supercade show. Now, I watched plenty of cartoons when I was a kid, and this one never hit my radar. Q-bert is a weird-looking creature of some sort, and in this cartoon, he appears to be wearing a leather jacket, and he has large sneakers. He also has arms and hands, unlike the game for some reason. Overall, the cartoon seems to be styled around the 1950s. That's about as much as I can decipher from how little I cared to watch. I did get through most of the intro, and it looks reasonably terrible. There were a total of 19 episodes. Well, that's all I have on Q-bert for the 2600. Thanks for taking some time to watch.